So a few of you have chosen projects where you're going to need to control some electronic device. So maybe turning the volume up or down, turning a motor on and off, reading temperature, seeing if it's light outside, and turning your porch light on or something, sprinkler systems. There are two kind of mini computers that you can get, and there are, generic versions of this versus the official version. One is the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi has an actual processor on it, so it is a computer. You can hook it to the internet, stream videos off of it, so it's more of a brain kind of a thing, versus if you just need something more simple to turn switches on and off, some simple sensors, that's where you're going to want to get an Arduino. And these guys, you can get an actual Arduino, or there's some knockoff brands that are very inexpensive. So this thing, it has a power. You can hook it to USB on your computer. You're going to download some code onto your chips, and then you're going to control what happens on these pins. So you can see you've got some voltage, there's 3.3 volts, 5 volts. Most of the sensors are going to run off of this power source, and this is getting fed either from the USB on your computer, can be used as a power source, or this little guy. Analog inputs. You're going to have inputs versus outputs. The inputs can read a signal from an analog sensor. So maybe you're trying to take the temperature of what's in the room, okay? So that temperature, thermistor, it's a resistor whose resistance value changes with temperature. So you can take that guy in, read the temperature, and then you can output something like turn your heater on and off from whatever that input is. There's a bunch of different, so these are digital outputs, and typically digital are either high, low, on, off, 0, 1 kind of a thing. These little squiggly marks, this is a pulse width modulation, PWM, pulse width modulation, and it's a way to just kind of fake an analog output without actually having an. So anyways, we'll ignore that for now, but there's a whole bunch of different channels that you can control the outputs of a whole bunch of different devices. Let's go ahead and head over to TinkerCAD, because they have some virtual boards that you can set up and code and play around with. So as well as kind of the basic sensors, I guess, and there are some speakers and proximity sensor. There's photoresistor, so you can sense what the light is, and turn little motors on and off, switches. If we come from the basic up over here to Arduino, they actually have quite a few boards that are set up, and you can use these as a starting place to look what they do. So here's an Arduino board. It has an LED that's hooked to ground, and coming through the resistor, LED has a very small resistance, V equals IR, small resistance, large current. If you have a large current, you can actually torch your board, so you want to be real careful. There's some kind of a resistor in there, so you don't have a large current to torch your board. But so this guy looks like it turns an LED on or off. Let's go ahead and look at the code that is behind this. So the code for this, it's actually written in C++, and TinkerCAD has made it very easy. So you won't have to actually type this text in, although you can study it, and by the end, maybe you'll understand what loops are and defining variables. So what we have is inputs, outputs, controls. You can define some variables here, add comment lines, crank through some math calculations if you need. For this one, what we have is a bunch of outputs. We are outputting a signal to control this LED. And if we read through what they have done here, so here's a comment telling us about this program. So this very first gray block, this program blinks pin 13 on the Arduino, the built-in LED. So that is telling us what this code does, and you can see, yep, this is connected to pin 13, and it is blinking the LED. So here's our next little comment, turn the LED on. So here is the output, set built-in LED to high. And then we're going to wait 1 second, and then we're going to set it to low. So we turn it on for 1 second, we turn it off for 1 second, and all of this is of a loop. So everything in these little curly brackets here, it's going to do over and over and over again. Now, what I want you to do is not just study the code that someone else, but see if you can understand it well enough that you could create your own code. So if we can see one LED, let's see if we can do another one, right? Any component you click on, you can change around. So you can change the color, you can change the value of the resistor. I like to actually put it 470 to 1000, really make sure that we're not going to blow the board. These pins, you can use any pin that you want to. Maybe we can use, I'll give us some room. So let's come over here to pin number 8. And this guy, there's an anode and a cathode. Be sure that the positive part of this is going to go into your anode. LED is a diode. It's like a one-way valve for electricity. It will only flow through it one way. And we need to give it some kind of a place to flow through. So let's bring this over here. It would be better to be hooking this up on a breadboard, but just so you can see what is connected to what. It's good practice to color code your wires so you know what's. So changing the color of the wire does not change anything. It's purely for organization. So I know black goes to ground, and often you'll set the high in to red. So this is the power coming into this thing, and we have it going through a resistor, so that won't have some huge current. So we no longer have just the resistance of the LED, which is no resistance at all. We have some resistor in here, so our current isn't crazy. V equals IR. Okay, if I start the simulation with this guy hooked up, the LED is not doing anything. So now we're going to have to stop the simulation and look at the code. And let's figure out if we can make pin 8 output something to this LED. So we're going to click on outputs and say, what kind of outputs do we have? So, oh, look, they've got the hello world. We've got an output for speakers. Rotate servo. So there's motors and servos. If you want to drive a car and say, turn right, 90 degrees, that's what the servo is for. But what we want is just to maybe set a pin high or low. So instead of the built-in LED, we're going to actually choose a different pin. And I'm just going to tack it on to the base. And it looks like we have stuff hooked into pin number 8. So let's go ahead and kind of copy what we see here. So we're going to set a pin to high. We'll wait a little bit, and then we want to turn it back off again, maybe make it blink. So we'll set that same pin, number 8, this time to low, and maybe then we can wait a little bit. So just find inputs and outputs in here. And you can see that it is actually adding to our C++ code as we're doing this. Once you have things set up the way you would like, let's go ahead and come over here to our board and see if it is working. Now, in real life, if you do this, I'll give you a warning. Some LEDs are brighter than others. If you don't see the light turning on and off, cup your hands over it so that it's dark. It might not be getting enough juice, so play around with your resistor. Virtually doing this before you actually physically doing this is a nice thing to make sure your code is working, and it's supposed to be. But anyway, so this is TinkerCAD. This is a really great little tool to build your code, play around with different inputs and outputs. And just go through and look at some of the projects they have in here. There's an entire Arduino website with project hubs that you can go through. You shouldn't have to do it yourself. You should be able to find another project that someone has done that's very similar that you can grab. So there's starter kits for this. There's starter kits for the generic pieces. Here's a project hub that goes through some of the different things that people have made with their Arduino boards. So find some things that are similar to what you're trying to do. Grab their code. I know you haven't had any programming yet, but the best way to learn programming is to copy and paste. Copy and paste, study what other people have done, and then modify it for what you need. And this is so much fun. Go through and see some of these really cool projects people have done. And this is the point of electrical engineering and programming, right? So you can control things and automate things. And okay, hopefully that'll get you guys started on this.